Illinois lawmakers look toward the next year budget season. They'll have a little extra money to spend. The state made a record nearly $1.5 billion in interest off investments during the last fiscal year. The money comes from low-risk investments like municipal bonds and prime money market funds. State law bars the treasurer from investing state funds in the stock market. The state treasurer says the $1.5 billion is money the state doesn't have to get from taxpayers.
Every dollar we can earn in investment income or interest income is a dollar that doesn't have to be raised in taxes or a dollar that doesn't have to be made in cuts for things like our schools, our universities, our roads and bridges.
Frerick says his office also helped local governments across the state make a combined $1 billion in investment income during the fiscal year 2024.
A